Noid was released on the NES in North America by Capcom in 1990. It centers around the Noid, the annoying mascot for Domino's during this era, which was always fitting, a shitty mascot for shitty pizza. The plot is that the city of New York has been run amok by Mr. Green, not the Clue character, but the doppelganger of the Noid. And somehow, only the Noid has the ability to stop him. Really? He's our superhero? Geez, this multiverse is fucked. So, taking control of the Noid, you venture off into 14 levels of your pretty standard fare, run-of-the-mill platforming. Your weapon of choice is a yo-yo, hence the term Yo-Noid, and you battle through a plethora of randomness. I mean, there are birds, balloons, and regular-ass humans who for some reason are falling in line behind this Mr. Green fellow. Aside from your yo-yo, you can get some power-ups called spells, which include a powered-up yo-yo with more range, a speed/jumping enhancement, and a kill all enemies on the screen function. All of these spells use up magic points, which can be built up by grabbing these scrolls, and the bigger scrolls contain the spells themselves. The thing that sucks is that whichever one you've picked last, that's your active spell. You can't toggle between them or anything. But thankfully you can see which one you're grabbing by shooting the scroll first and identifying the spell by what the icon is. To activate these spells, you have to hold down and B, which is kind of awkward, but not ridiculous either. The controls are good, and so is the music, per usual with Capcom games, but the difficulty can be pretty cheap, with shit like enemies that pop up out of nowhere that you have no time to react to whatsoever without having played the game already, not to mention that you've got a one-hit death, which is a real bummer, especially since there are no fucking checkpoints. One little slip, and it's back to the beginning of the stage. Thankfully, the stages aren't too long, and you do get continues, albeit a limited amount, but I really feel like this game should have been one of those 3 hit point type of games. You're usually not overwhelmed with an onslaught of enemies, but the margin for error is extremely thin, and there are quite a few tight spaces that require precision, especially toward the end. Some of the difficult parts are tough but fair, and others are cheap. It's unbalanced overall. The other weird thing is the boss battles, if you want to call it that. Actually, you do want to call it that. That's what Mr. Green refers to himself by. These boss battles are just pizza eating contests. It reminds me of Alex Kidd and the rock, paper, scissors battles. It's basically a card game where you use the card's numbers to determine how many pizzas you eat. I know this game is based on the Domino's mascot, and everyone loves pizza. Even bad pizza like Domino's is still pizza. But this is still pretty bizarre. Even more bizarre is how you don't see Domino's product placement all over the game like you did in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. What happened here? Well, this game in its original Japanese format is Kamen no Ninja Hamamaru. I'm sorry for what was surely a mispronunciation. There was a whole different set of characters which were repackaged for North America under the Noid brand. Even still, color me surprised that they weren't able to throw in some Domino's logos or some shit. I don't know. Maybe this was all thrown together at the 0 hour or something. Overall, Yo-Noid is a bit of an oddity. It plays pretty well, but like its mascot namesake, there's nothing groundbreaking here. And there are some odd imperfections that just make it kinda quirky. The first stage takes place on a broken pier with fluctuating tides. The water level shifts high and low at an insane rate, and if you get caught on one of the lower level platforms when the water reaches you, you're fucked. Other hazards in the stage include these guys with rifles that mostly wander back and forth. Take them out quickly so he doesn't even get his shot off. Then there are these fish that pop out of the water. They try to take you by surprise, but unless you're not paying attention, you should be able to slap them out of the way, or you can just wait until they drop back down into the water. There are also some birds that simply fly down at you from overhead, jump and attack them. What you have to worry about most in this stage is probably your positioning. Grab the double multiplier early on. These will be useful in the pizza eating contests later. So will the peppers, which come in the form of these exclamation points. There's a hidden one here where the dock gets pretty low to the water. When you get to the spots where you jump, It moves fairly quickly, so you don't want to get caught up in the wash and drown. Grab the pepper right before the end, and you'll get a pizza eating contest. Both you and a Noid doppelganger have your own separate goal of how many pizzas you need to eat to win. You have a bunch of cards to choose from on how many pizzas you eat in a given turn, and since the doppelganger always goes first, you'd think that you should have no problem edging him out. But it's not as simple as it looks, at least in the later stages when he gets much stronger cards to use. The ideal situation is to use as few cards and power-ups as possible to save them for the tougher contests later. If you run out of multipliers or high-numbered cards, you're fucked. And you have to win these contests to advance to the next stage. It's not a bonus round like I thought initially. So I'm not going to tell you what to do step by step in these contests because the doppelganger's choices are random and your power-up count could be different if you missed 1 or 2 or whatever. But the rule of thumb is to max out your pointage as much as you can when he picks low cards, because your blocks don't get filled based on how many pizzas you ate. It's counted by the difference between your card and his. So if, for example, he draws a 3 and you pick a double multiplier with a 2 card, then your point total being 4 minus his total of 3 will only fill up 1 of your blocks. So when he picks low numbers, and remember that the low numbers are relative to what stage you're on, when he picks low numbers, crank out a high number so your blocks fill up quickly, and then you use less cards. If he takes a medium-ish number, that's one you can waste away one of your lower cards, because what's the difference if he's only going to fill a block or 2? If he picks a high number, however, that's when you bust out your secret weapon, the peppers. Using the pepper will cause him to freak out and he won't eat it, making him waste his card away. The red peppers must make him vomit all his food back up because it wipes out his entire score, while the black pepper just cancels out the pizza he just ate. Once you finish off the first guy, it's on to stage 2. Stage 2 is one of those ice levels with that fun, slippery terrain thing. If you hold the opposite direction of the D-pad for a moment, you'll stop dead in your tracks, which you're really gonna need when scaling these narrow moving ice platforms. It's much easier than dicking around with your positioning by jumping around to correct your balance, which is a natural reaction to counteracting it. These falling ice blocks come out of the sky randomly, let the debris scatter around, and then move on and grab the pepper. Then you've got these polar bear hockey players that try to beat you with their stick. Keep yourself at a distance and hit them with your yo-yo. It takes a few shots to kill them. It takes a couple shots to take out this prick too, but that's mainly because you gotta cut through the ice blocks that he lays out on the ground and kicks in your direction. So take them out or jump over them if you're not able to level off with them and just blast him. Grab the hidden triple multiplier here and you'll come to a small fork. Take the bottom path because you can get a hidden doubler, and a one up here, and up top you've got one of those skating bears, plus these ice platforms crack underneath you if you stay on them too long. So when you come across them, move as fast as you can, and at the home stretch you've got a pepper up here, and if you drop back down below onto the small patch of ice, it'll lead to a hidden doubler, and the end is right after that. No contest this time. Next is a skateboarding level, with lots of ramps, slopes, etc. You can't fire your weapon here, but you can smash enemies by landing on them, although the hit detection isn't very consistent it seems. So make sure you don't land too close to their front side, it may cost you a life. The birds are pretty straightforward, they just fly around, but these purple flying guys will drop bombs. Slow down when you see them to let them drop their bombs in front of you and then jump over them. There are 2 doublers, one early on, and another in the air you'll have to launch to get to. There's a pepper on the lower level right after that, and a pepper on your way up this ramp. The only good thing about not being able to use the yo-yo is that all the power-ups are in plain sight. No hidden bullshit. Other than that, just make sure you don't fall into pits, and once you finish the stage, you'll get another pizza contest. Now you're up on rooftops, and you'll come across these balloons, which must be filled with poisonous gas or something, because they're the deadliest balloons I've ever seen. Pop them from a distance, and there's a hidden doubler right near the first one. You'll run into this doofus bouncing around on the pizza crusher. Give him a few shots and take the crusher for a spin, After a little while, you won't be able to use it anymore, but you can crush the baddies and get some good height on your jumps. Before you do it though, advance a little bit and reveal the hidden pepper and grab the doubler that's in plain sight. This guy breathes fire, or at least he spits out a flammable liquid that sends fire in your direction. He moves slowly, so just wait for him to attack, get in front of him, and fire back. You'll reach a huge pit, but first grab the hidden doubler shortly before that, and then to get across the pit, you've got these floating platforms that rotate. Jump across to the next one, taking out the balloons along your way. Just keep in mind that if it doesn't look like you can reach, switch over to the other platform in this invisible track, and that one should be lined up with it. The other one sucks. Right after you get back on land, there's a hidden tripler here, and after a stretch with some more hunters, balloons, and flame fucks, you'll find a hidden pepper up here. And you'll soon reach the end, and it's on to stage 5, which takes place in the sewer. Right off the bat, you've got a 4. Take the lower path so you can get a hidden pepper, and then there's another one here near where this pickaxe guy is. These flames that fire out of the far wall, wait for them to retract before crossing. Even this little spurt that shows up before the full stream comes out, you don't want to hit that one either. Wait for the opening between these water droplets too. These must be contaminated or something. You'll come across the aforementioned pickaxe douchebag, basically like that guy in Mega Man 1, only this guy does take little breaks. So avoid the attacks and get in there and fire when there's that little reprieve. And you'll find another doubler along the way right after. Then hop on these crates and ride across the shit river. When these flying fish pop out, your first reaction might be to jump and avoid them, but then you just lose track of the crate and fall into the gook. So either shoot it when it first pops out right away, or just wait it out. Doing absolutely nothing works just as well. Just let them fly right past you. And soon after is the end, and you get another pizza contest. Once again, you're out on the docks, but the water level stays consistent this time. Get on this raft and it'll sail off. Keep it underneath you as you hop from platform to platform, grab the scrolls, and when you see these fish, bees, frogs, or cannonballs coming at you, fire right away. You don't want to get caught waiting around for them to line up, or you could lose your boat. Thankfully, they only take one hit each. Grab this icon to magically summon the platforms in front of you to rise up out of the water, and then move on. There's a doubler here right by the scroll and the pepper, and then go back to get on the boat so you can get this scroll. You'll find another doubler in the air here, another magical platform icon, and then there's a scroll you have to do some weird backward shifting in the air after you grab it to get back to the raft. Another magic icon, and you'll come to the source of the cannonballs. They'll fire out of nowhere out of these cannons, so proceed right after you see one fire. 2 more hidden doublers on the ground level, just be careful of the cannons, and the end is right after. Now we're in a carousel, and it's an auto-scroller, lovely. These horses can crush you if you get caught underneath them, but you can also attack them or use them as a platform. Just keep in mind an enemy will emerge from the horse if you wipe it out, so you have to deal with more bullshit. There's a hidden tripler and exclamation point right at the beginning, and you'll meet the monkey with the cymbals, who bounces around like crazy. Line him up and wipe him out. You don't want to deal with the wall pulling you in, plus him. Hop up here for a doubler, and then use the horses to get across the long pit. There's another doubler and exclamation point after that, as well as another long pit you'll need to use the horses for a boost. And right after that is the end, and another pizza contest. Now you're in a flying stage. You have to tap A to pick yourself up a bit before you start falling again. You can constantly do this, but there are a lot of spikes, so you have to carefully maneuver yourself between it all using mostly light taps. Like in the skateboarding level, you can't use your yo-yo, so all you can do is avoid hazards. The enemies don't have complicated movements, but the spikes keeping you in claustrophobic situations is what can complicate matters here. Patience takes care of most of this. Let the planes and flying squirrels sail past you, and wait for these little bomb drops to fall in front of you before passing. And with the moving spikes, wait for them to leave as big of an opening as possible before you move on. Grab all the items you see, and you'll reach the end soon enough. In Stage 9, you've got these big galoots that take a lot of hits, but they're slow as hell. Just stand back and fire away. There's a hidden doubler right away, an exclamation, and these cans that pop off the ground. Take a quick swing at them. Use the spring to reach the hidden tripler up here. Get up close to these red things on the ceiling to lure them to drop in front of you. You don't want to just walk through and get slammed. And there's another exclamation along the way. At the home stretch, you'll find a doubler here, another one right over the pit, and watch out for these rats hanging from balloons. They'll try to drop skulls down on you, which slows you down temporarily. One more doubler right before the end, and a pizza eating contest later, you're on to Stage 10. At the beginning, watch out for this prick that jumps out the window wielding a shovel. Get out of his way and wipe him out. There's a hidden pepper here, and quickly wipe out these punks before they toss a bottle at you. Some of them are in the window, peering out to toss bottles. Avoid these and attack when he tries again. Grab the doubler here, get the hidden one up here, and then there's a hidden pepper in this spot. Channel your inner Donkey Kong days and jump over the rolling barrels, and then you've got this douche that tosses this thing at you and retreats, making him a bit of a pain to hit. Run towards him to get under his arc pattern attack and charge him to pump his guts full of yo-yo. 2 more hidden doublers right before the end, and it's on to Stage 11. In the beginning, the whole screen will flash red, and that signifies all these fucking crates that come raining down from the sky. Slip between them, but watch your footing cause there are pits all over. When you see the flash, try to stay as low to the ground as possible so you have more time to react, and watch the lower level too so you don't step off into a pit. It helps to have a lazy eye in the situation. Grab the hidden tripler here, wait for the crates to clear before moving on, and you'll come across this box full of worms. Unload on it. It takes a few hits to kill, and you'll want to wipe out the worms at the same time, so aim accordingly. There's another doubler here, and start firing quickly to get rid of the snail and this welder or whatever the fuck he is. Let these objects pass by you, don't let yourself get lined up with them, and get in front of the snails quickly when they're on the narrow platforms, because they do take a few hits to kill. Time your jump right to get over this thing when it sails by. Just watch your landing on the narrow platform, grab the hidden pepper here, a hidden doubler, and then one more pepper on this narrow platform, and grab the one up in the scroll. There's one more doubler right before the end, and you'll get a pizza eating contest before you hit up Stage 12. You start off on some broken conveyor belts, but don't worry, there'll be some functional ones coming up soon. Wait for this electrical charge to clear before advancing, watch your step once you land on the working conveyor belts, and when you get here, take the upper path and kill this welder before grabbing the hidden doubler. There's another one right after that in this spot, just wait for the charge to clear before making the jump, and quickly jump on these narrow belts so you don't get swept up. When you get here, take the lower path for a doubler, and back up top for a one-up in the scroll. Pass these pits, grab the hidden doubler, and soon after is the end. Stage 13 is a vertical stage. You have to climb all these freaking staircases, so this is a pretty good stage to use your jumping power-ups. Watch out overhead, you've got flower pots out the yin-yang pouring down from the sky, and even when it seems like you've got the timing down, they still seem to jump out and surprise you. You can wipe them out, sure, but you have to level off with them. Otherwise, all you can do is avoid them and hope one isn't coming down when you jump. There are 2 doublers right away, grab them, and then you'll run into this quagmire of shit. The aforementioned flower pots are right in the way of your path up these platforms while having to avoid this machine's projectiles. You'll have to jump quick when there's an opening and get off right away to go around and take this shit out from the other side. Stay hugging the right side, grab the pepper, and watch the machine's pattern, slipping in for a counter in between its attacks. Then you'll run into a cop that's rolling barrels down the stairs like Donkey Kong. I thought the setup looked kind of familiar. Fire off a litany of attacks when you get in front of him, and wipe out the barrels, and finally him. Then use the spring to get up here and follow the dropping platforms up.
Grab the doubler right before the end, and you've got a pizza eating contest before the final stage. It's another flying stage. Once again, you can't shoot anything. Grab the tripler and the pepper right away, and stay level with these big bubbles, vertically or horizontally, because they'll break off into diagonal shots once you get close. After that is another pepper and a doubler, and then you come across this prick firing shit out of a vacuum. Stay off level with him because of this. Grab the doubler and stay low to the ground so you can avoid this annoying bastard as he sends off these projectiles. Pedal your way underneath him, and soon enough you're at the end, and you get one more final pizza eating contest, and the game is over. You get a little end scene where the Noid heads to the pizza shop, jerks off his ears in excitement, and that's it. So that wraps up this game, and that wraps up this edition of Aqualung's Game Reviews. See you next time.